Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's Toby's Talk Show, and today we are back with another episode, and we will be predicting the NBA playoff series by series, and I'll be crowning an NBA champion. So, we'll start on the West side and Western Conference side, I should say, and we'll start with this first game, the Jazz and the Grizzlies. Last night, the Grizzlies upset the Warriors. Steph Curry dropped 39, but it wasn't enough. Ja Morant, once again in clutch games, continues to thrive, drops 35. And yeah, they surprised pretty much the whole world and beat the Warriors. And they will be facing the Jazz. If the Warriors were playing, I just think Steph Curry could scrape out, just like Luka Doncic did against the Clippers last year, like 2 games, just because of how good he is. But the Grizzlies, there's no one like that on that level. Obviously, Jaw's been so great, but we haven't seen him in the playoffs yet. And the Jazz, there's a reason they're the best team in the league, at least record wise. And yeah, I think they're going to win in 5 games. Now, the next series is a rematch from last year. It's the Clippers and the Mavericks. And, when I saw that this was a series, I was very excited because, we saw this last year and it was very, very entertaining. The Kristaps, being thrown out and all that, and then Luka Doncic hitting that game winner. And just every game was, physical and close. And you saw that both teams were really into it, trying to win the game. And I'm excited. I think Luka Doncic is so good that he could always scrape a game or two pretty much off anybody. But I just think the Clippers, they're a little better this year, in my belief. I think Rajon Rondo is going to be a big, big help in the playoffs. And I think the Clippers will do the same thing they did last year and beat the Mavericks in 6. I think Kristaps' health is going to be a big X factor. And I just think the Clippers just roster is just better than the Mavericks. And, 2 superstars, 1 superstar, and a guy that's sometimes playing and, can never get to his peak because he's trying to always get back to where he was. It's tough. And the next series is, one of my favorites in the first round, and it's the Nuggets Blazers. Obviously, I think with Jamal Murray, this wouldn't be that good of a series. I think the Nuggets could easily beat them in probably 6. But I think, when you don't have your second option, especially in clutch situations when it's a half court game and, they're doubling Jokic, you need someone to score. And obviously, Michael Porter Jr. has stepped up, but he would have been a beautiful third option. And Jamal Murray, he's just, last year we saw what he could do in the playoffs. And it sucks we won't get that same opportunity this year. And I think it's going to really, change the Nuggets from being contenders to, at least for me, losing the first round. And I just think, Dame Time's a scary animal. The Blazers are getting hot at the right time, and they're fully healthy. And, the Nuggets aren't, even though Aaron Gordon is a nice piece, a nice addition. I just think the Blazers are going to be too much. I think it's going to be a great series, and I think it will go to 7. And they had a series that also went to 7, and the Blazers won, I believe. And then they faced the Warriors and got swept, I think. Yeah. All right. The Suns and Lakers is going to be an amazing series. I'm so excited just because, as an NBA fan, I'm so excited just to see Chris Paul and LeBron go up against each other on such a big stage for really the first time. LeBron's always been in the East until when he moved to the Lakers, obviously. Chris Paul has always been in the West, and we are finally given the chance to see them in the playoffs. Even though they're both old, or, they're old, yeah, I guess I could say that. They're and maybe not at their prime, they're still just both dominating the league. And it's going to be a great series. I think I could see either team winning, but it's gonna be so interesting because it's not your normal 7 seed. Look at the other 7 seed and you go, the Celtics. Even if they had Jaylen Brown, you'd be like, all right, they're good, but they can never always be on the court together, and they just have been up and down all year. I don't trust them. But it sucks for the Suns. They haven't made the playoffs in 10 years now. They have to face pretty much the hardest 7 seed of all time. The defending champions. That really the only reason they are the 7 seed is because of injuries, and they're all fully healthy now. It sucks. But I'm some believer as a Knicks fan who suffered for the last 8 years. Pretty much this whole decade. I share that with the Suns, and I want them to win, and I think they can. I don't know really how I could go against LeBron, but I'm going to. I want to. And yeah, LeBron, one of the best players of all time, and I probably don't really see him losing, but I think the Suns could pull this one out. I just think, even though the Lakers have 2 of the top 5 players in the league, I think the Suns have just been so good all year, and this whole team is just a unit, and they found their stride. Literally the second against the Spurs, the last game, the Suns pretty much whole starting 5 didn't play, and they whooped the Spurs by 30. I just think it's going to be very, very interesting. All right, so Eastern Conference, or Eastern side of the bracket. Sixers with Washington. I mean, I don't really have to go into much here. I have this Philly winning in 5. I think Russ could have one big game, and I know. But the big thing for me is that Beal, he just isn't fully healthy. He looked better against the Pacers, but I just don't think he's fully healthy. And I think either way, with Russ, you're gonna get a big game or a really not so good game. And I think with the Sixers defense, it's gonna be real tough. They're gonna force him to shoot, and it's not his specialty. And I think we might get a few bad Russell Westbrook games. All right, Knicks Hawks. I'm a Knicks fan, so you know who I'm going to go with. But I think this is going to be a very, very good series. I mean, I think it's probably going to be one of the most entertaining series in the first round. And, you have two young teams that have, overachieved this year, that are both hungry, that both haven't done that well in the past 5 years, and, are trying to make a name for themselves. Both their leaders haven't made the playoffs. Again, trying to make a name for themselves. And it's going to be a very, very interesting series. Both of them seem like they're gearing up to have pretty much full stadiums. And yeah, both great teams. Knicks known for their defense, Hawks known for their offense. Bogdanovich, is heating up as of late. Knicks have been good all year basically, but really in the second half of the season. And I'm so excited as a Knicks fan. I can't wait. In my mind, I'm gonna honestly tell you that I think it's gonna be Hawks in 6 or 7. But as a Knicks fan, I can't root against them. And I want my prediction to go with who I'm rooting for, at least in this series. So Knicks in 7. I think it's gonna be a great series. I could see Knicks in 6, Knicks in 7, Hawks in 6, Hawks in 7. I really don't see anyone like blowing the other team out. All right, Bucks Heat. This is another great series and another rematch from last year. It's different though this year. The Heat have underachieved, unlike the Hawks and Knicks, and the Bucks, they've improved greatly. I don't know, that great. But Holiday, PJ Tucker, Bobby Portis, all huge huge additions. Bryn Forbes, and yeah, I think this Bucks team is more cohesive. I think Mike Budenholzer isn't the right coach for them, at least to win the championship. But I think we don't have to get to that yet. He could still prove himself. He won Coach of the Year 2 years ago, so I believe so. So I really shouldn't. I don't know if that should be a belief I have. But I still think the Bucks are just a better team than the Heat, and I think they're kind of going on the uprise while the Heat are kind of been shaky and going on the down. There are reports about Jimmy Butler not being happy. It seemed like they're fake, but who knows? And yeah, Tyler Hero has just been shaky all year. So I'm gonna go Bucks in 6. I think it's gonna be a great series, but this time the Bucks are gonna get away from the past and move on. So Nets Celtics. This one self-explanatory. I am just not doing well with my English today, but I'm gonna have the Nets in 5. Tatum, or if Jaylen Brown was here, it could be a different story, but he's not. All right, I'm gonna try to go through these quickly. Don't want to make this too long of a video. Jazz Clippers. I think the Jazz are a great team. This is gonna be an amazing, amazing series. Two amazing teams, two of the top 5 teams in the league going at it. But I just trust the Clippers more. The Jazz just haven't, gone that far ever with this core. And I just think the Clippers, Kawhi, Paul George, I think they know that this could be their year. The top teams aren't, that good. The Clippers probably are better than them. At least I think so. And, they don't have to face the Lakers until the Western Conference Finals. So, I think they got it this year. It's in my gut. The Clippers are going to do it. And I think I just want restoration for thinking that they would win last year. Suns, Blazers. I think the Blazers are a good team. I think the Suns are just better. They've been better all year. I think Dame and TJ is great, but I just think the Suns have a better team overall. I'm going to say Suns in 6. Sixers, Knicks. I think it's going to be a good series, hard fought games. You probably saw the memes on Twitter. Ben Simmons has never lost to the Knicks. That is true, and I don't think he is going to lose a series to the Knicks in the playoffs. I will say Philly in actually 5 or 6. I'm going to say Philly in 5. But Bucks and Nets is going to be an amazing series. I can't wait. I'm a Knicks fan, so I don't like Brooklyn. But I think fully healthy, the Nets should win every single series, and I think they should be the champions. I think the Bucks match up very, very well with them, though. I can't lie. You have Holiday with Kyrie. You could put DiVincenzo, maybe Chris Middleton on Harden. You have Durant on Giannis. It's pretty good matchups, and I think it's going to be a great series. I think the Nets should make the I think the Nets should win the championship. I think they will. Should. I don't want to see it though, and I don't want to picture it, and I want to be different. So I'm going Bucks in 7. Come on, Milwaukee, you got it. And it would lead to two great conference finals games: Sixers, Bucks, Clippers, Suns. Look, I think the Nets should win, and I think there's a very good chance they do. But I just really don't want them to, and it's my prediction, so I'm gonna say Bucks in 7. Three of the best offensive players of all time. They definitely should, but I could just see them falling on their face. All right, Suns, Clippers, Sixers, Bucks. First, Clippers, Suns. I think, both great teams. I think the Suns, besides Chris Paul, I don't know. I feel like the playoff experience could get to them. A lot of the Clippers, it's a lot of vets. They kind of gave their whole future away to be good now, and I think that's going to really help in these playoffs, especially against a young team like the Suns, besides obviously Chris Paul. I'm saying Clippers in 6, and then Sixers, Bucks. I just think the Bucks, if they do beat the Nets somehow, I think they're just better than the Sixers. They just have more offensive and defensive power, even though the Sixers' defense is really, really good. I just think they have a better team overall, and I think Giannis is going to pull it out. I think Embiid's going to go home crying again. Bucks in 7. Bucks, Clippers. This is what I predicted last year. I didn't think I'd do this again this year, but we're here. The 3 and the 4 seed instead of the 1 and the 2 seed, I believe. But who cares? Both pretty much the same team. Probably both of them got better. And I am going to say that the Bucks are going to surprise everyone. Giannis is going to win his first championship. One of the hardest roads I've seen in a minute, probably besides Dirk, the Heat, the Nets, the Sixers, and then the Clippers. But I'm going to say the Bucks win it in 7, and that is my predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. The playoffs start in like 10 minutes when I'm uploading this, so, turn off this video, go watch it, enjoy. I can't believe playoffs are back. I'm so excited. Let's do it, guys. Bye.